tuning in to the Advisor Person ID presentation. My name is Denise Schuyler, and I am with the NDE Service Desk. Our agenda for today is for the Person ID collection is talking about what it is, some data uses for the Advisor Person IDs, where it is, how it works, some troubleshooting tips, and some resources for you. So what is Advisor Person ID? It is the system in which the student ID numbers are assigned and updated. So every student enrolled in a Nebraska school should have an NDE student ID number and only one NDE student ID number. This data needs to be kept current in Advisor Person ID system. The data in Person ID that is included is your first, the student's name, first, last, middle, their preferred name, which is optional, first, last, date of birth, current grade level, current district code, school year, and then there is historical data. Current and accurate student data is extremely important for all schools that are reporting student data to Advisor. It's also very helpful in locating an ID number for a student or students that are transferring into your school. It's important for non-public schools who are using the direct certification system, as the nutrition services pulls that information, the student ID numbers, directly from Person ID for direct cert for non-publics. And it's also very helpful in avoiding creating duplicate ID numbers for students if it's accurate and current. Data uses for Advisor Person ID. The preferred names are used in Advisor validation and lookups and verification reports. The preferred names are also used in the assessment rosters. And the Advisor Person ID names and birth dates are used whenever NDE needs to match students against a data source that doesn't already or doesn't have Person ID numbers, such as Medicaid. So where is Person ID, Advisor Person ID? It is in the NDE portal. If you do not already have an NDE portal, you would need to register for the portal account, and the portal website is this link here. During the registration, you choose your own login ID and password. There is no approval required, so once you've successfully registered for your portal account, you should be logged on. You just won't have any access to any collections. You would have to get activation codes for whatever collections you need from your district administrator. That includes the Advisor Person ID. So there is an activation code required for Person ID. There are two user types. There's the district, which allows you to do anything and everything in Advisor Person ID, and a district read only, which basically only allows you to search for an ID. Now, once you've registered for your portal account, that portal account is going to follow you wherever you go within Nebraska school system. So it doesn't belong to the district, it's yours. So therefore, please do not give out your login password or your login ID or password to others, and do not use other staff's logins or passwords. So once you've added the student or the Advisor Person ID to your portal collection, again, it's going to be found under that Student and Staff and SSRS tab. And to enter into the system, you would click on the collection name. So how does Person ID work? Well, you can assign IDs to create new or update. You can download a location, and you can search for student ID numbers to locate an ID number that's been assigned to the student, or to update IDs. We'll go into more on that on these here in the next few slides. So once you're in the advisor person ID, there's like 3 segments. Your top segment is your menus. So we have the home, assign, download, and search. On the home screen, the top half of the home screen, you'll see a link for the instructions. That's the instructions for the advisor person ID system, and it'll walk you through almost every process that can be done in the system. Then you have your login ID, and then there's a logout link as well. Under the menu, you'll find a batch search process. You can search by batch number. If you happen to have a batch number, you can search for it and pull that batch up. You can also search by batch date range, the to and from here. So enter your from and to dates and hit search. When you've either searched for a batch or just on the home page, you're going to see down below all of the batches that have been processed within this time frame up here. You might see different batch types such as file uploads, edit person online, add person online. All of the batches, no matter what batch type, during this time frame will be listed here. We also have a refresh button here that you can click to refresh your screen. However, that doesn't speed up the processing any, unfortunately. The assign menu is next on our list here, and there are 2 options for assigning student ID numbers. You can enter an individual student online, or you can upload a file of multiple students. So the enter online process is for an individual student, and all asterisk fields need to be completed. So first name, last name, gender, date of birth, grade, school, district of residence. You enter all of this required information and any additional information that you feel pertinent, and then click the assign ID button. So that ID button will either assign a new ID or it will update a new ID. We'll talk about more of that later. Once you're back on the home screen, you'll see the status of your enter online process. The status will change with progression, and eventually in your next action field, you're going to see either possibly a review near match or matches and download. And again, our refresh button is always here. To upload a file, you would locate the file on your local computer, choose the file here and select it on your from your local computer. The delimiter is either tab or comma, tab for a .tab file, comma for a .txt or .csv. The qualifier, you will almost always leave blank, and then tell it yes or no whether or not your file has a header. There are some file formatting instructions in the advisor person ID instructions, which can also be found on our advisor resources page here. But again, it's what the instructions are in advisor person ID in that upper right corner. Talking about the file formatting, there are several columns that require very specific formatting. They are the columns G through K. Column G is the person date of birth, and it is a 4-digit or a 2-digit, excuse me, 2-digit month, 2-digit day, 4-digit year with slashes. It will accept a 1-digit month and a 1-digit day, but it must be a 4-digit birth year. Person school year is the 2-year school year. So for instance, say 2023, 2024, that's exactly what would be in there. 2023, 2024, no dashes, slashes, spaces. Column I is your person district code, that 9-digit county district school number with the 3 zeros at the end, the building, the district building level. County, or the district of residence, is your county district school number of the public school district for the district in which the student lives. If you're a non-public system, that's going to be the public school in the area in which your student lives. Again, with the 3 zeros at the end, because it is the district level or the system level code. And the person's school code is again the 9-digit number, but with the school building code as the last 3 digits. So if you have multiple school buildings, elementary, middle, high, each of those buildings has a 3-digit number, and that's the number that's going to be in this person school code. That 3-digit number is the building the student is enrolled in. So once you've uploaded your file, you'll see in your batch history a file upload, the status, and it will change with progression. And then hopefully we'll have a next action of download, possibly resolve near matches. Near matches must be resolved, and they must be resolved by a human, by a person. The system does not automatically resolve near matches. So, and you can get a near match even if you're adding a person online on that enter online, because the system's going to look for an ID already in the database that matches the information you entered in that enter online section. So you will click on resolve near matches, and that's going to take you to a near match screen, and it's going to list the different near matches you have in the file, or if it's just that one student you entered, there'll just be one line here. You'll click on that review and select to get you to a compare screen. So this top record is the submission record. That's the data that was entered in that enter online, or the data that was entered in your file. And this bottom record is what the system found in the database that it thinks is your student. It might be your student. You'll click on either compare, last name, first name. Any of those 3 links here will take you to the same place. It's going to be a side-by-side view. And that side-by-side view is going to give you more information to compare. Again, the submission record, this is the information that was either in that enter online or in your file. This is the data that the system found that it thinks might be your student. We ask that you review this information very carefully. The highlighted information is what's different between the two. So compare these very carefully to determine whether or not this student is your student. If you're not sure, you have 4 options here at the bottom of the page. If you're not sure, you can click exit, and it's going to take you back to another near match if you had more than one in the file, or it'll just take you out of the near match process. You can cancel the record. If you cancel the record, it just takes it out of the system, takes it out of the file, that or it cancels that near match. But that student ID did not get updated. So you'll need to know who that student was, jot that number down, and you'll need to go back and get more information on that student in order to determine whether or not this near match that you're going to get next time is your student or not. Whether or not you need to create new, which is another option here, create new ID. So after you've reviewed these very carefully, if it's determined that this student is not your student, then you can create new ID. And if you determine that this student definitely is your student, then you can do assign selected. And when you assign selected, your information in that submission record is the information that is now going to display on that ID number. You have now updated that ID. So once that near match has been resolved, then you'll get that download, and you can select download to save the file or retrieve the ID number that was assigned. We have a download option next on the menu. The options for downloading location are the entire district, a specific school, or a specific school year. So this is a great tool for reviewing previous year's students that were assigned to your school. You can select different years to know which students were assigned to your school at that in a particular school year. It's also a great tool that can be used if you download this file. That file can be used as a starting point for creating a new file for the new school year. You would need to remove students that have left the school or the district and add any new students. Edit the file to update grade levels, school building changes if there are any, school year, etc. Quick note, file must be imported into Excel, into a blank Excel spreadsheet to edit it. So in your download location, you're going to select your district if applicable. If you only have access, if you're only responsible for one district, then your district is going to display here. You can pick all schools, individual schools, current year, previous years, and then click the download button. When the file is downloaded, the format will be a .txt, which is a comma separated file. It will need to be imported into Excel to better view the file or to make any edits to the data. There are instructions in the Advisor Person ID instructions for how to import a text file into a blank Excel spreadsheet. And this is a very important process, importing into Excel. Last but not least, on the search menu or on the person ID menu is the search. So you can do an individual student search by name and date of birth. I would start with first and last name only, unless you have a really common first and last name. And then you can narrow the search results down by adding the date of birth if needed, if you end up with too many search results. You can also search by an ID number, and we'll talk more about searching by an ID number now in a couple screens from now, but you can search by an ID number, click on the student that it's located by that ID number, because it's only going to pull up that one student, and then you can look at the data that's on the ID, where the student is currently assigned, what grade level, what school year, that kind of information. So once you've done your search and then the results display down below, you'll want to look for the student that has the same date of birth as your student. You can click on the first or last name. It'll take you to the same place, and it's going to take you to a student information page. Now, while you're searching, if you happen to see multiple student ID numbers for what appear to be the exact same student, please notify us at the NDE service desk. We can help you determine which number is the appropriate number to use and which numbers will be retiring. So on your student information page at the very top, you're going to see the student state ID, the date it was created, and the time. There's an add note link. This add note link is very helpful if there is an adoption and a student's name has completely changed, rather than somebody looking and seeing two different names on an ID and thinking this is a borrowed ID number. If you add a note, there will be a view note link next to it, and they can view the note and see, oh, the student had a name change. There's general information and enrollment information on the very top. More on the next pages here. Below the general information and enrollment information is batch information, person information, and district information. There's also a back to resolve and edit student link down there below, but we'll talk more about those in a second. So that batch information box is going to show you the batch number this ID number had last been updated in, when it was, how it was, whether it was a file upload or an enter online, and when it was created and the batch status. The person information section is going to show you all the information, how it was updated, what was updated, what might have been changed. It's all of person information. Oops, sorry. And then the district information, all the different school districts that the student might have been in, or all the different years the student was enrolled in your district. That information is going to display in the district information section. Then we have the back to result edit student button. I said we'd talk more about here in a bit. So back to results going to take you back to your search page. And then edit student is going to take you to an edit student page. On that edit student page, you can edit any of these fields except the student ID number, because we all know there's only one and it can never change. So misspellings, you can correct those here. Gender, if you accidentally selected the wrong gender, if the birth date's wrong. If you're searching for a student's ID number to add the number to your student information system, you can actually update it right here and assign that student's ID to your school. You just change the grade level, the school they're enrolled in at your district, their district of residence, the school year, add the local ID if you use them, and then update student. When you click that update student button, it puts all of this information on that student ID as the current information. It also will take you back to that student information page, and it'll show you all those changes that were just made. So just some troubleshooting tips here for you. If by chance you should get a next action status that says contact help desk, usually that means there's an invalid student ID number submitted in the file. It could just be a transpose number or a typo in there somewhere. You can click that contact help desk link and it'll create a ticket. You can just send an email to advisorhelp@nebraskacloud.org and let us know you got this message. We will need to assist with this. We'll have to locate the invalid ID number for you and then work with you on correcting it. If you are unable to locate an ID number for a student that you know has an ID, he should have or she should have an ID number. You might want to check the student's records for possible name change. If that's not the case, you can certainly contact us here at the NDE service desk. We can assist you locating that ID number and then help you avoid possibly assigning a new ID number that wasn't needed. If by chance a duplicate ID number is found or created, definitely please contact the NDE service desk. And if you have trouble resolving their matches, you're just not sure if that student's yours or not, certainly send us an email, contact us. We will help you make the determination. Oops, didn't want to say thank you quite yet. Resources, advisor person ID instructions, and blank templates can be found under the advisor person ID accordion at this link. So not only are the person ID instructions in the collection itself, they are here, but here there are also blank templates for creating your own file. And then the NDE service desk, advisorhelp@nebraskacloud.org. You send an email to that email address. That's the fastest way to get your question to us and the fastest way to get a response from us. We're here to help you. So that's all I have for you. Now I wish to say thank you for joining and watching this presentation. I hope it was helpful. Thanks again.